All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the World Arena podcast, aka the Wopcast. Today,
Wop wop.
Firas and I are joined again by Wapze. What's going on, man? Thank you for joining.
Chilling,
Yeah,
Glad to be here.
so we got a big week in Summoner's War this week.
Surprising.
We got new Nat 5 families, which is like the
Mhm.
actual big part, and then there's also the fact that Special League started, but that I guess depends on who you are if you think it's a big week or not.
Mm.
But yeah, what are your guys' first impressions of the new Battle Angels?
I got and then I got the Water Battle Angel, and for reasons of like sort of the RTA team that I'm using,
Yeah.
I put a decent bit of testing into it, and I'm really liking it. Mostly like because I haven't had like a full RTA workout on it. Obviously, like I'm using it mostly like in PvE or like messing around in like arena offense or whatever. And
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy what it does in TOA hell. Like you can just like grind through TOA hell in like 2 seconds now with it, which is kind of insane.
Really? It
Yeah,
does
because it
that
just
much damage?
because it hits 3 to 4 times for
Can
10% of
you
their max health.
can
Like
you
Holy
open it up, Zig?
crap.
Can
Yeah.
you open her up?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
go into the water one. This is the one that everyone's been chasing, and there's been a lot of videos going out and stuff of this unit. So this one is when attacked by an enemy, decrease the damage taken by 5% per harmful effect on the enemy, and when attacking an enemy, bosses excluded, deals additional damage by 2% of the target's max HP per harmful effect on the enemy up to 10%. That's a mouthful, but yeah, I mean that's pretty crazy. So she just shreds TOA hell. That's
Yeah, because her second skill, and the thing is she can do it unsupported if you really need her to. Because her second skill applies like tons of continuous
yeah, a
and
dot on every
glancing,
hit. Yeah.
and it's
Oh.
proportional to attack speed damage. Like it's kind of like it's actually an overloaded skill if you look at it.
Man, even the
And
first skill is a multi-hit. That's crazy with that
yeah,
passive.
she's going to be like
Uh,
an additional machine basically. The one problem is that you're going to run into the same issue that I really need to test it in RTA, which is like a water unit that multi hits that potentially loses 1v1 to Juno, which is
I hate that.
basically the thing I hate most in the
Yep.
entire video game.
Yep.
Welcome to Summoner's War. But yeah, that's other than Juno. But she's still not gonna shred a lot of wind units though. Multi hits are great, but it's maybe.
Well, no,
So
but the thing is it applies that 10% damage whether she glances or not. So, like, for
Hmm.
instance, the team I'm running with Nyx, Nora, that kind of garbage, like,
Yeah.
she's going to be doing 50% health to wind units, like, even through glancing. Like, you don't have to build her crate or anything. She just shreds people.
yep.
So, Juno is, like, literally her only natural predator. And it's
Which
kind of
is
insane.
crazy. Yeah, that's it makes no sense. But I mean, I don't know, because if you could get your team to do 40 to 45% to a Juno, she will die to this S2. So it's just like, can
And
you
the
get
one
the
thing,
rest of the way there, kind of?
so the one thing
Yeah.
I'm looking at is, so I'm running that Tomoe comp that'll do a full ATB reset. And so what I'm looking at is,
Yeah.
if you tune it correctly, her landing slow on her skill one, getting like say 20% of their health down on that skill one, and then doing a Tomoe reset, so Juno's slowed, and then potentially getting 2 turns, one of which is her second skill, into the first skill, and maybe being able to kill a Juno before it can get its first cleanse off. I'm
You
not sure
definitely
if it'll work.
would. I feel like you would definitely kill it. But the question is just, do all of those things land in the journey towards getting that kill off?
Well,
Most
well,
of
the
the
thing is
pushback. The pushback's
the
what
the
matters.
no, no, the Tomoe pushback happens every time. Like that's you only the only time that doesn't happen is if you get 15% in.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah,
And
that's what I'm referring to.
oh yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
if you get 15% in, like you don't deserve to win. Apparently, it
Yeah,
says
I
something.
know. I know. It's sad.
Let's get bent over. That's actually pretty good. She's better than I thought that. She has a good awakening too, right?
Hack. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
so then unlike the fire one. Did you
She's
say rip?
no, I did not say rip. I don't
Oh.
think. Maybe I did. I don't know. I've been drinking.
No, she got a good awakening for some reason, and obviously we'll go into more detail on the other ones. But they really screwed over Fire and Wind in the
Yeah.
awakening department.
Wind one less so, but the fire one for sure. It makes no sense.
It's just completely out of nowhere. Like I don't understand. But we'll get into that after. But yeah, I mean this unit is really, really crazy. I didn't actually like fully comprehend what this passive did because like the fact that so you can deal up to 10% on every single hit of the second hit, right?
Yeah,
So
that's
even
Yeah,
if you
so it
kill
does-
absolutely nothing, you take what 160 just percentage damage off of your opponent's team, 40%
Yes.
off 4 units.
And that's not including the fact that Juno aside, like you're also dropping condition damages on. So you're going to be doing however much condition damage.
yeah.
And if they don't have a cleanse, they're also glanced. Like it's an incredible ability. Like
Holy shit. So if they have 4 debuffs on them and they're at 20%, they just die by default?
yes.
Oh my god. Cuz we're sure that it can kill though, right? That the percentage portion of her thing can kill.
I have not tested that specifically.
Because that must
I
come
mean,
in
it's-
after, right? Or does that go
It,
in
it
on the
says
hit?
it says damage, not like lose health or something.
Yeah.
Like, I think. Well, let me check the wording on Nora because Nora is one that
Damage.
does damage similarly, but doesn't it like cannot kill with that damage.
Oh, she
It's-
can't. I didn't know
Yeah,
that about Nora.
Nora cannot kill with that fourth skill.
Oh,
It says attacks on enemies and decreases hit points by 5% on Nora's skill. This one says does
Just
10%
deals additional
damage.
damage, yeah. So this must be able to kill. Man,
One
that's
thing
really good.
One thing I did test, however, is that damage is not multiplied by damage on element.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
I don't think so.
Because I was like, okay, what happens if I just drop 20% extra fire damage on this? Can I just one shot Junos with my first skill, kind of a thing? And
Yeah.
it does not work, unfortunately.
Yeah,
That's not-
passives are like their own thing because Feng Yen's doesn't either. With stuff like that.
what a
But-
rip.
But I'm really, oh man, look at those base stats too.
They're good.
They always do this, man. They pick one out. They pick one out of the family and just bless it with everything. Like here, you have the damage, the base stats, the awakening, and
At least she doesn't have a arena speed lead to make it worse. At least that's not what's happening with her.
Just wait.
yeah,
Just don't say that. All of a sudden, everyone's gonna complain she's not viable in RTA, but she's perfectly viable everywhere else. Even though that won't be true, and then we'll just give her speed awakening all of a sudden. And look, well, just bend me over while you're at it, and just ruin the game.
I mean, I don't even know how they buff her though. The problem is they'd have to change a skill. Like she doesn't have an obvious. Like I don't know. I guess you could
Wait,
change her to
who?
speed awakening, but
Still talking about Amber, but she doesn't
Yeah.
need a buff.
yeah, she
From
doesn't
the
need a buff at
sounds
all.
of it, from the sounds of it, it's good.
yeah. So just like on the topic of new units, is this like the third attack type family in a row we've gotten?
Probably.
Was
Well,
it
we don't even-
Shadowcasters and then Surfers before that? Was that the order?
Yeah, Shadowcaster and Fat Cats.
Was I mistaken? I thought some of the Shadowcasters were not attack type.
I think some
could
of
be-
them are supports.
They're
Let's
all
see.
like kind of in that vein though, right? I mean, like I think like the light one is considered a support because it just puts that chains on people or whatever. But like,
Yeah.
Wind and light are
Light,
both
yeah.
supports, thruster attack.
because like I mean, like in this they might even oh no, they call all these attack. But like I would consider light to be a support more than anything. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but
But that would have made her base stats even crazier.
even
though.
better, even though they're
Yeah,
already
because she
godly.
doesn't. Yeah, because
Look at
you don't
this.
need attack on her, right? Veronica's nuts.
Yeah,
Okay, we'll get to Veronica. Okay,
but
so
I'm
are we
just
done?
wondering though, like we keep getting these attack types like
Yeah,
injected in the game. Like, are they trying to actually like speed up the RTA meta? Because like,
It
why else
seems
would
like
you,
they are.
right?
but like, again, typing doesn't really matter for like what really happens.
Yeah, well, I just mean like I more so mean the actual type of unit, not necessarily like what this word says here, but like these are all
Okay, I see.
these are all
Okay, that's what-
nukers.
okay,
Like they're
yeah.
all attack style, like aggression units,
Yeah,
and so we're
They could.
surfers, and so we're most of the shadowcasters.
yeah. I think you're right. It does seem like they're trying to but most of the time when we do get new units, they're not heavy support units either.
Yeah, well,
They're,
like
they're
before those
usually
was totems, right?
yes.
So I wonder if they feel like they slowed the game down too much or something. I don't know. It's always curious to think like, why is a family getting added into the game? Like, is it just sheer randomness, or is it like, are they actually trying to, like, when they gave us a really busted 33 lead in Oliver, were they trying to bring the game back towards a turn one style of meta? I don't know.
I mean, it's weird though, right? Because like, especially with Oliver, they made it more turn one, but he himself is not really a
He
DPS.
can do whatever. Well, he hits really hard, but no one builds him
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, but at the same time, like every good turn two unit takes advantage of people who crit or people who take extra turns. And
Yeah.
Oliver is like one is the most turn taking unit in the game, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And no one
Yep.
builds him crit rate because it's such like a liability. But I don't know. I feel like if that's what they were trying to do, they don't really understand how the game is played.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely right about that. But like, because you would think they have some sort of thought process of like what they're implementing a family to do, and like these are obviously not really arena units. None of these are going to do more damage than, you know, Groggins or Lucians or whatever you're using now, right? Like none of these have become arena offense units. They're not dungeon units. I mean, maybe they're siege units. I don't personally do siege. You guys would probably know better than me, but they seem like an RTA family to
Not really.
me.
They do seem like an RTA family, but
Would
anything that
really
works in
like
RTA can pretty much work in Siege as well.
True.
So like if you like an offense standpoint, not exactly a defense standpoint. So like the water one, on the topic of the water one, she does work on a Siege offense, yes.
Yeah, I've seen the
And then
Nephthys cleaves.
already that's for sure gonna happen.
Nephthys
And
Jogun, Amber.
yeah, and when I was thinking about too about what you're saying on like always remember like during the SWC qualifiers is when they release these heavy
Yeah.
turn one comps too, right?
Yeah,
So
balance patches. Yeah.
yeah, not just the patches, but the unit release as well is
Yeah.
relevant to that. So when we got the Art Masters, 2 seasons ago or 2 SWCs ago, so in
Yeah,
2020,
2 years ago, yeah.
I can only remember that far back. Joe Gunn was not buffed to where he was now, but there was an attempt on having that kind of meta as well, where to like
Yeah.
control and delete stuff ASAP. But there were Beast Riders, I recall, were the most relevant in 2020, wasn't it? Or was that 2019?
2019. I think the end
Yeah.
of 2019.
I think 2019 as well, because that was 2019 was Street Fighter, right? Or was Street Fighter
No.
2020?
Oh, 2020 was Street
2020
Fighter.
is Street Fighter.
2020 is when we had like the Ryu dominance
But
and
well,
the
no, they didn't.
no,
No,
oh no, sorry,
they
you're
didn't
right.
allow us.
2021.
They didn't
Yes.
allow us to start using Street Fighters until 2021.
Yeah, that's right.
They were
That's right.
locked
But
at RTA.
I'm trying to think before they came out. Chung Pung was only buffed in the summer, was he not?
They buffed him right before an SWC because I remember like Faint and JMac like randomly brought out like Chung Pung, and like it was like immediately after his buff, but he hadn't really like caught fire yet, and
Yeah.
like no one else even had him ruined or built in that SWC. And JMac, or maybe it was an SWC. It wasn't the finals, but it was like NA Cup or something that JMac ended up winning, just clapping
Yeah.
everybody with Chung Pung. And it was like, holy shit. Like, after they gave him that defense break that at the time could land on something that you stripped.
Yeah. That's when it became accelerated.
Yeah.
But that happened, I think, during SWC during the second season of that year is when that applied, I think.
Yeah,
Or was it right
probably.
after? I can't remember. I really can't remember anymore. And it got nerfed the same time Artifacts came out, I think, where like they flipped the defense to apply before the strip.
No, I
Uh,
think you're a year behind on
am I a
that.
year behind? I'm
Yeah,
mixed up on my years. I'm
yeah.
not known for my memory. But anyways, the point of all that conversation was that I think that just during the SWC seasons,
They try
which
to
is the
speed it
first,
up.
yeah, and that's what it feels like the pattern is. And then with
They
this
don't
coming
want
out,
their game
yeah,
like broadcasting to tens of thousands of people and Antares is deciding the match, you know? I mean, can you imagine if someone's watching it for the first time and it's like, oh, a turn-based strategy game has like 40,000 people watching it? Like, let's see what it looks like. And this fucking unit is just like, why is he
yeah,
moving after every time the other guy moves?
and he's doing a lot of
Yeah,
damage, and
he's
he's like,
just decimating one side and it's not even his turn.
Mr. Chung has entered the chat.
I would love to like somebody who knows nothing about Summoner's
I
War.
would love to hear
I,
their opinion.
I know, like when they see like, what's this unit? Just keeps taking a turn every time, and he's like eliminating the team. It's so weird.
I can't even imagine like some of the like high end like Pokemon players and stuff, because we always bitch in the Pokemon community that there's a 4% chance to crit. There's a 4% chance to pick up a crit, and we think it's the most bullshit thing in the game. If they came in and watched this, and it's like 15% chance on every skill that it just fails. Like it's like clicking Fire Blast every time in Pokemon. You always have a 15% chance to miss. You always have a
Yeah.
15% chance to miss on every single skill. Antares is
Oh,
just taking
man.
turns at random, decimating shit, despair stuns. They would have no idea what the fuck is going on.
I want to see it. I
And
want to pay somebody.
people call Pokemon RNG because of like a 30% chance to burn or something like that. Oh
Yeah,
my god, they don't even know.
yeah. Do you know anybody high in the Pokemon community
I know
that
a
would?
lot of people. Some of them have played Summoners War in the past because while like COVID
That
hit
spoils
and
it.
people were like finding other games to play, I recommended. I foolishly recommended Summoners War to
What a
a bunch
fool
of
you
people.
are! No, you made them feel better about Pokemon, most likely. So
Yeah,
there's
that's
that.
true. That's probably true.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
yeah,
let's move on from water. Let's move on from amber.
yeah. Okay, let's go to my girl here because
Oh,
I'm really liking this unit. So
here we go.
the fire unit and the wind and I believe the dark all have this
And they were made
crazy
for that. They
S2.
were made for that angel skin.
What
Or
that
sorry, the wing skin.
the
rather.
wings, yeah, it's so cool. But so wind, fire, and dark all got this second skill that's basically a copper nuke, but it's instead of defense versus defense, it's attack versus defense. So your attack has to be double their defense, and then you ignore defense. I don't know
Yeah.
what the actual number multiplier is on it, but if you're looking at the screen right now, you can see my build on a crit rate build. I currently, with my artifacts, do 51k on fire units and 43k on any other element. I just have a lot of damage dealt on fire for bisons, but this multiplier is ridiculous, and it's a second skill with a 2-turn cooldown. She's on violent, and her
Wait.
third skill gives her
Oh, it's
attack
on.
bar. So it's like this unit is just so, I don't know, it's just such a fancy Kali. But
A fancy collie,
yeah,
but without needing the attack buff though.
yep, but
Can we see the second skill again? See the wording on it?
yep. So
It's half. Okay, so it does have to be technically double, or at least double, I guess is the wording for the
yeah,
attack.
it's half.
What's funny is how bad that's going to make a joke of Douglas.
Oh,
Like even if you glance, it just kills him. I
never
think.
losing to that unit again.
Yeah, that's pretty smart. I didn't think about deleting Dougies with her.
However, come to us if you're watching. Please leave a comment and explain this awakening to me, because every skill is a crit rate, crit damage esque skill. She has horrible defensive base stats, like Grogan level base stat, 500
Yeah.
defense, less than 10,000 HP. Why the
Yikes.
hell would you need to awaken into resistance? There is not a single reason she needs a res awakening. A build doesn't exist where she's going to need resistance. I don't know. There's no explanation for this. But outside of this one blemish, I love this unit so much. She's so good. But yeah, what do
What do
you
you
guys
think,
think adding a nuker to a Nat 5 version of Kali to RTA is going to do, if anything at all? Maybe you guys think it's just going to get popped by.
I mean, the problem is going to be, is it good enough to basically make a joke of turn 2? Not make a joke of. Is it strong enough to make turn 2 teams fear it? Which is obviously like, the thing is like, for instance, I tried making a single target cleave team a couple of times, and it was not the most fun because your choices are not good, right? Like you had Odin, you
Yeah.
had
Also,
Kashmir, you
Yeah,
had like,
definitely.
and the problem
Awakening.
is Odin has conditions that make you have to, like, basically causes you to force draft Draco, which is like because of how many buffs you need to activate him.
Yeah.
Like you have Kashmir, who's does basically what Claire does, except has 2 res checks ahead of time. You have basically what I'm saying is a
Daft
single,
is same thing too.
like it may make a renaissance of single target cleave. Like if you know they're going turn 2, like you just draft to it. You draft Bastet. If you have Wool Young, you have Wool Young. You do like Wool Young, Bastet, Claire, whatever the Win-Win's name is. I don't actually know. And then you're just like,
Hot
hey,
Amber.
and I mean, it may have a big enough dent that like if someone's like a hard turn 2 player and you know it ahead of time, you can just be like, oh yeah, see ya. I ban your Molly and you die. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. One thing I want to add to that comp, though, that you're just naming too, is it cracks out Dominic too. So you can use these attack buffers and boosters with a unit like Claire and Dominic, and they cycle, they nuke constantly because she has super low cooldowns and cycles, and Dominic just nukes every time he moves. So,
Yeah.
like, the synergy between those two with attack buffers is like, I think it's going to change the entire metagame. Like, even if people aren't doing boosting metas, like if you don't have the Swift units to run, or the Swift sets to run Bastet and stuff like that, you could build Claire tankier, Dominic tankier, and run them with like Fran type attack buffers as well, who protect
Well,
them.
the thing
That's
is
true.
I don't think you even necessarily need to be fast, right? Like there's people who are drafting very obvious turn 2 teams
Oh yeah,
that
right from the first pick.
you can literally throw like 0 speed swift sets and outspeed them. Like I actually kind of like I was doing this with Ken a couple times like in previous seasons where I'm only running like a swift, it's a swift Ken with like 280 speed on
Yeah.
Swift. So it's not fast. But the thing is like it doesn't need to be fast. Like you're going against people who are maybe running 260 or 270.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
why even go? You don't need 320 speed sets unless you are fearing like a pivot into a
Well,
turn
that's the
1.
thing. You're setting yourself up for a debate. You know what I mean? Because like they can first pick Dominic, Nana, and you can think it's turn 2, or honestly, you shouldn't. You shouldn't make any assumption about that, right? Like at that point, if I see Dominic, Nana, I'm still guessing. I don't know. Like it's 116 base speed Nana with defense break, and Dominic, who can be built pretty damn fast because all he needs is stats. So like they can still really easily pivot into
Yeah, I mean, I think that's
Ryu something
true.
else, and it's like, so some people, you're just setting yourself up. Like if you're Swift sets, if you're running Swift but intentionally slow to get more stats, it can bite you in the ass for people who are
So
just like running faux cleaves where they pretend
Yeah.
it's slow but are actually fast.
So it's too early to assume that. Like with a Nana Dominic.
Yeah, I
so
mean,
My
people who first pick Ragdoll or something,
so
yeah,
I
they're
think
it's kind of obvious.
they're showing their hand, but
So I also think that's true. That's probably true at the very, very high end. But I think for like the average player, like some guy who's in C2, like if they see a Nana, that guy's not turn 1.
yeah,
Like
probably
he,
not. Unless it's like a one of those cocky cleaves or whatever, because like
yeah,
those are some of the easier cleaves to rune for those low rank people, because cocky's like what 114 and Nana's 116, and
yeah.
like those comps are pretty
Easy to
smooth
tune. Yeah.
for low ranks. But for the most part, yeah, if you see something like that, it's probably turn 2. But I don't know, it's just, I like to have the ability to also speed battle people while, like, if I'm already picking Swift units and I'm saying, okay, I'm not going to have the chance to proc, I'm not going to have the chance to Despair Stun, I also want to be able to speed battle if it comes to that, because otherwise, if they do catch me off guard and do, like, back end pick, like, Escher Tableau or something random like that, then I'm like, oh, fuck, like, that Verd wasn't triple revenge, it's actually Swift, and here come his speed leads, and now I'm like, yeah,
Eating it.
yep. But I just think that I do think this unit's just going to be so good, especially with Dominic. Like, I feel like the reason why they buffed Dominic in the first place was to just kind of be like a, I don't know what to call it in this game, but in like Pokemon, you call it like a wall breaker, where it's just like,
Yeah.
it's just this Pokemon or this monster, whatever, that's just going to do big damage, very little setup, just get you through tank units that otherwise make your comp like really difficult to get past. But
Yeah, I can see that. In this case, though, it would be like the opposite. Instead of like breaking out killing the supports, well, I guess it can work the same Pokemon. Like Claire, for example, is most likely never taking out a Riley with that S2,
yeah, I've
right?
been testing that in Goodwill.
Yeah, it's not happening.
Even attack buffed. The last two I hit. Okay, I've hit 4 Rileys. 2 of them I ignored. 2 of them I didn't. So it really just depends. It's what is their slot 6? That's it. Is their fastest slot? Yeah, with attack buff. Is their fastest slot 6 a defense rune? If it is, then I'm not. It's like a game of chance, because if they're on speed HP, it's gone. If they're on speed HP defense, it's not gone.
And I think the thing though is you can kind of like protect yourself against this. Like if they're going turn 2, like if you're bringing speed boosters and attack buffs anyway, like you just bring the Lucian, and anyone who's on a defense.
Oh, that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
He's prepping that Lucian already. It's insane.
Yeah, I can't wait to cleave. Like, I just think she just I think her and Dominic just opened the door to just like actually being able to break through cleave counters. Like, even with Dominic, I still keep going back and forth with his build. Sometimes I put him on attack slot 2 and he has like plus 2400-ish attack or whatever, and like a couple of the like Volantises I've tested against, I've just killed them outright on turn 1. I just buff up
That's
attack.
nice. Actually, that's nice.
Just drill right through it with Dominic, and like, I don't know, that's just really hard to do. Like, if you're just classic Shimate cleaving, he's gonna revenge your Shimate, cut your Lucian, and fuck you up. You know what I mean? But now with a unit like Dominic, it's like, clear that guy out of the way, and then just let the Lucian blast, you know?
Okay, so I think probably the most common question people are going to ask then, what's the difference between Claire and Kali in that slot? Because, like, other than, like, they both ignore. Kali has no conditions to ignore. She just ignores outright. I think it's very similar damage to what you have, even without attack buff.
I don't know,
so what,
though.
Like,
I feel like the numbers he's quoting are true, then Claire must just have insanely better multipliers, because
I don't think Kali hits that hard. Does she?
I mean, I've seen some. I built a pretty bonkers Kali once, and it had way higher crit damage, and it still just didn't. It was doing like 40k or whatever. Like, I don't. Maybe I just suck at the game, which is 100% possible.
Let me see if I can find a match where Claire got into. I don't remember which of these, but yeah, I mean, it all just depends. Like, I guess if you can get Kali on Violent, I don't know, because that's the difference too. Like, this is not a Fatal Blade Claire, right? It's Vio Will, so I can cycle and I can utilize the S3. Whereas, like, in this exact situation right here, and this is the exact comp I was talking about too, was Claire Dominic to just break through these walls. Actually, I think I got sacked this game. I think the Juno revenges my Draco, but whatever. Anyways, like, in this situation, Kali's S3 is useless. Like, you have one skill on your Kali in this particular match.
Yeah.
And you're probably, I don't know, I just don't think you're doing enough damage with Kali. Hold on, let me just see if this is the one where I get revenge. Okay, never mind. She then strips me and Despair Stuns me, but it's fine.
Classic.
Irrelevant. But Yeah, I don't know. If Kali can do that much damage on Violent, maybe it's like a good free to play replacement. But I think
Oh,
Claire's better if you own it in almost every way.
I don't. I've never built a Kali in general, let alone like original or 2A, because I don't
Yeah.
have the runes. But I'm very curious. Like, does she do better than what's her name? Uh, oh yeah. Oh, okay, I remember seeing this match actually.
Yeah, well, this is where you baited me, so we don't even get to see the S2 damage. He's like for us is the Triana's passive is down. You can hit the Dominic, so I swing at the Dominic, and the Triana's passive is not down, so I don't even get to
Was
see the
I ever
damage.
wrong?
But
Setting you
still,
up for failure.
well, this is actually a good example of how she is better than Kali though, because in this game I utilize her S3 instead because of that mistake, and this is something Kali can't do. Like if Kali got that one turn to hit this, then your
Yeah.
follow up turn is what? It's nothing. In this, I get to 52k a Diana to the face and just
And that was with S3 or S2?
that's S3. So I gain
That's
50.
S3.
I gain 50 bar and get to just 52k a Diana. Like
Yeah, it's kind of insane. I will probably be having to build this.
yeah,
And what about how much would S2 normally do on those
on
basic?
fire. On fire, it's 51k. I sent you guys like screenshots of it. Like I hit a bison
Oh wait,
and
yes, yes, yes. I
yeah,
remember
and
now.
did
Yeah.
51k. But that's because I stack the hell out of damage on fire just so I can clear the way for Lucian's, my Lucian. And
Hmm.
on
That's
everything
actually
else, I think
pretty
I hit
good.
about 43k. It's always tough because you never know what people have for artifacts. Like one Oliver I hit, I did like 37. So he just has massive reduced from fire on him. I still killed
Yeah.
him. He wasn't that tanky, but it's hard to get a grasp on how much damage you're actually doing because you don't know what they have for artifacts. But
Okay, so she's better than Kali. I can say that for sure then.
yeah,
Because
and
on some of your comps, you'll end up with like 3 attack buffers, right? Because you still want to
you
run
still gotta have
2.
boosts. Yeah,
Yeah, and those boosts are gonna have attack buff on them. So the ones that you would normally be using anyway. So it's not a bad thing, I guess. So that's good. Just too bad about a Res Awakening. If it was
yeah.
accuracy, even just accuracy, just so you
Anything.
can.
She has a defense break, like a
Her
three.
S1 debuffs as well,
Yeah,
right?
slows. But
Yeah. So like,
this is 100% activation, 3 turn defense break. Like this thing is actually this skill is a big deal. But if without an Ack Awakening, I can't afford to put accuracy on this thing.
no,
No way.
no.
Every single rune is grinded for either more attack or more crit rate or more crit damage, something or other. Like never
Yeah.
accuracy. But yeah, I think she's gonna change. I think the water one is better, but I think the fire one is gonna actually change the meta a little bit more, just because it's gonna unlock a different type of comp to
Yeah,
be able to be used. Whereas water just kind of feels like a nice addition to comps that already kind of exist and do well.
yeah. I
Mhm.
can see that for sure.
Yeah. But now let's go to the
The
kind of
the weird one.
yeah. I don't know how to feel. One of you guys can start with this girl. I don't know how you guys feel about her, but
Well, Apps owns it. I don't know if he played around with it yet.
I mean, it's 5-star unawoken, so no.
Oh,
I got it like 10
Perfect.
minutes ago.
oh, oh! You just pulled it?
Yeah, that was my complete Pokedex. Was this guy?
Oh, I thought you pulled it like 2 days ago or so.
No, I got fire and water, and then today was DJing stream for getting
For
the
For
last one.
Sonya.
uh
So I don't know. Like I need
Interesting.
like an explanation of this unit. Like what's the logic? Like you're supposed to have 300 speed, but also so just for anybody listening and who doesn't know what she does, she also has the S2 where her attack needs to be double what she's hitting's defense to ignore its defense, also meaning to do any damage at all. This skill does not hit hard if you don't ignore defense. Just for the record, you're talking about like 50k or 6k. Like there's a big deal.
I
So
mean, you know what she needs? She needs something like Elsharian's passive also. Like they need to add on something where she gets like 20 speed every buff she has or something.
Yeah, something
'Cause
like that.
you can't build her fast to do what her second skill does. Like she needs to have something that makes it so you can like you can make her like her third skill's her passive's fine, but she can't do it for herself, really.
Yeah, well, what if she had Masha's passive, but instead it's speed buff? Every time she does anything, she gets a speed buff at the end of it or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean I can see that.
But do
I
you
think
guys
she's.
think like Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, so I think, like, if you build her, I don't know how you're gonna pull it off. 100 res with high attack, but
100 res.
because like to utilize that, right? Like if you use her as a counter to water units, it increases up to 50%. But that's you have to be faster to pull that off.
That's the
too.
thing. Yeah, this is nothing if you're not. You have to.
I mean, and that's the problem, right? Is like if you look at like say the fastest units in the game, like say you have a Wunsa, right?
Yeah, that's not happening.
You're
Who's
never
going, like,
glancing.
well, we're right, but like say you have a Wunsa that's like 350. Like, but I mean, most people are building violent units on like 270 or 280, right? Like at the high end. So even the fastest units in the game are like only 60 speed faster than like
Yeah,
the
it's not 100.
slowest G3 units. Like you're never hitting that glancing even like between the two reasonable like ends of the speed spectrum, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't know, I just feel like it's a weirdly not good, like in comparison to say the other unit who does this obviously is Douglas. Like Douglas has a very obvious like you build the thing and it makes him better at both his passive and doing what he's supposed to do. But this doesn't like speed scale off skill 2 or anything.
Nope.
Like
No.
if the second skill was
S1
like
does,
ignores,
right?
yeah,
Oh no, it
like
doesn't. It's
yeah, it
just that
doesn't even
other S2. Oh god, what is this?
Yeah.
What is this unit?
yeah, like there's nothing in there that's synergistic. Like to get her use out of her passive, you have to take away from her skill 1 and skill 2. Like if her skill 2 was like if her awakening was to change skill 2
I
to
was
ignore
just gonna
defense,
say that. That's what I was waiting to
yeah,
say.
ignore defense
Yeah.
based on how fast she is or something, then
Yep.
sure.
That's
But
exactly what I was gonna say. But I don't know, because like I feel like that's the avenue. Like let's just say Claire does end up not being that great. This unit we're pretty certain is gonna not be that great. Like you don't want to touch the S2 for real because the unit we'll talk about next has it as well. But like that's the avenue. You change their awakening from a res that neither of them care about and change it to an upgraded S2. Like Claire's can be something like if she gets a kill, reduce the cooldown of her third skill or something like that. And this unit could be get some speed scaling or like completely change this to where it's ignores defense if your speed is more than blah 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 their speed or something like that.
it would actually be really good for the skill 2 as like a special awakening. Just increase her crit damage based on speed, so you can
Yeah.
build her rate, and then that way you can actually sacrifice a different stat for more speed.
Yeah.
Or wait, what if it never mind. I was gonna say like they would probably have to do it in the form of the passive, but like what if she gained attack power based on her speed? Like you know how Kaki starts the game and gains defense based on his attack power? What if she started the game and gained attack power based on her speed? So now you can actually utilize both things. You can build her crazy fast, have the glancing, that turns into attack power, so now your S2 is actually viable.
Yeah, one of those things needs to happen. Like
Yeah.
she needs to be able to stack a stat that then influences the other stat, because
Yep.
right now you can't
In
build
some
both
form.
like in any reasonable way. And in reality, even building her speed is like kind of weird, right? Because
It is weird, yeah.
Because the only way you would ever get any use out of that is like what you run a Swift Galleon, Swift Sonya, or something really funky like that. Because like if you're building her so fast anyway, you don't need a booster. Like I don't know, like it's weird. Like you almost need a no speed. You know, like those Gemini cleaves where like nothing has a booster, but everything's 320 speed. That's basically what you have to build to use her.
Yeah. I didn't realize her passive was based on her speed as well. I thought it was that makes it so bad.
Yeah.
You can't it's impossible runes. Unless the multiplier on S2 was so good, you don't need crit rate, so you can run on, like, let's
No, I
hypothetically
already
say
tested
double
that.
attack. Yeah, so
Yeah,
you need
you're capped
you need
out
to
at
crit.
about 20k if you run a pure attack build on these
That's
guys.
okay, so that's not at all worth
So
talking about.
yeah, I don't
Oh,
know.
she's a rip. She used to be
She's
boss.
weird. Yeah, I don't know, but she seems close enough to being good where I could see like a minor tweak. Because like we also have to keep in mind she does have this extra part of her passive where it's if she gets glance she gains 30% bar. So
Yeah.
like she's already going to be really hard for water units to deal with, but right now it's only water units. Right now
Mhm.
Douglas counters everything that has far less attack power than him. Doesn't matter. Water, wind, light, dark doesn't matter. She only counters water in my opinion
Yeah.
right now.
She can't deal
One
with
thing
the
they
other boosters at all.
What-
So yeah.
One thing they need to do to her, though, also just aside from all of this stuff, is they need to make her like Susano or those units where
Yeah,
multi hits buff her, like give her
several times.
attack bar multiple times. Because right now it's only once.
That's
And
weird. Why?
it's like right now she's literally just worse than a Nat 4 in terms of her passive. So it's like
I didn't know that. I didn't know it did it like that.
so I haven't tested it myself, but I've heard multiple people say that that's how it works. So I mean, if I'm
Man,
wrong, then I'm wrong. But I
I
think
wonder if
that's
that's an
how it
accident. Because that seems
It's never an
silly.
accident. It's never an accident.
Yeah, but all right,
Um,
let's
she-
move on to the next one with that S2.
Yeah,
'Cause,
but like, hold on. But
yeah, go
before,
ahead.
like, pretty much, she just needs to gain more from her passive because she actually has a lot of potential to
Yeah,
like be stupid good. But the fact, like, if the requirement wasn't just speed, so like if any AOE stripper hits her, like it's easier to punish, let's say a Chew or a Wunsa or who else?
I have an idea. Actually, I have a kind of cool idea for her that would make her pretty good. Like, what if, in addition to gaining that 30% attack bar, she also got attack buff? So she's actually a counter AECCer. So like, if you hit her with a Chiwu, she gets 30% attack bar, also attack buffs herself, and then you just like kill somebody.
but you can't. You'd have to be faster than the Chiwu to get that.
No, I'm saying
And
if a Chiwu were to glance you, like,
Yeah, but
oh yeah,
Chiwu
you're
can
right.
only
You're right.
glance you if you're faster than him.
Yeah, never mind. That's stupid. I hate this unit.
Yeah, it
yeah,
doesn't. It
you
just
have to
doesn't.
be faster.
She
At
just
least
doesn't
that's
make
how the
sense right
wording
now.
is.
But
Yeah.
if you are faster, then you move first. Now you're at 0 bar, and 30 doesn't matter
Yeah.
because you're at fucking 0.
Damn. That's a
All right,
yeah.
Pompolis, back to the drawing board.
Yeah,
Yeah.
back to the drawing board with that one. Oh, they get against water right now, which isn't
Yeah.
like the worst thing, but she has potential to be a really good meta shifter. Like once more people own her, like if she had a proper passive.
Yeah.
I really like the idea of her. She's a better Covenant, right? Like she's a better Covenant. She's a better, not Douglas per se, but you have the
She's
option
what's
once
that
you're
unit's
hit.
name? She's
It's called
supposed to be a premium version of that wind guy.
Carbine. Carbine.
Carbine,
Sorry,
yeah, yeah.
I meant to say Carbine. That's what I was meaning because
But right now
it
she's worse
it
than
would help.
him. Like she's
Yeah,
strictly worse than him right now.
yeah, which is a shame by a lot. So, yeah. Okay, back to drunk. Anyways, let's move to the next one.
All
Yeah.
right. So the next one is one of okay, just to preface this, like this is probably the first family to come out in a long time where I think both LDs are fucking busted. Like
Yes.
out of the gate, which almost never happens. Sometimes they're both duds, but usually at least one of them's a dud. Like with the Seimei and I don't even know the other one's name. It's so useless. What is
Dormammu.
it?
Not Dormammu, but Domu or Domin or
Oh
something like
yeah,
that.
Doomin. Yeah.
Call it Dormammu. But yeah.
And then like with the Sky Surfers, you have the light one who's not very good. With the Shadow Casters, you have the light one who's not very good. I actually don't even remember what the dark one does. He might not be very good either,
Probably
honestly.
not.
But yeah, so usually these are duds, but this family got some cracked units. So Destiny, the dark one, also has that same S2 we just talked about on Claire and the wind one where she ignores defense if her attack power is more than double their defense.
Yeah.
pretty damn good on an element neutral unit who also almost has 900 base attack. Like that's pretty goddamn good. But then she also has a skill 3 on a 2-turn cooldown that hits
Yes.
an enemy 5
Go on.
times.
Yeah.
All 5 hits have a 100% chance to 3-turn defense break and 3-turn oblivion. What the hell? This unit is so insane. She gets the good awakening. She's got crit rate awakening just like the wind and fire should have, but they didn't feel like doing that for us. So this unit gets this skill is one of the craziest single target skills I've ever seen in my life. Like,
Yeah. Makes no sense.
How does what? Why does it have 100% activation on 5 hits? They never do that, by the way, ever on anything.
100% activation with 3 turns is so redundant.
And 2 of the best debuffs in the game too. I mean, I don't get it.
On a 3-turn cooldown.
Huh?
There should be so many dead kinkies.
She'll just kill him outright. Like there's I can't. I don't know. Maybe you guys can make sense of this unit. I can't make sense of this S3 though. Like,
nope. It's like, is it a good S3? Yeah. Is it excessive? Yes. Like, it's fuck. Like, I don't know. Apps, go ahead. I don't know.
It's very easy for me to make sense of this unit. They need to drain everybody's scrolls before.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they need to have the best fourth quarter that they have ever had.
Yep.
In a
we joke about it, but that is like a real reason why these companies do this stuff.
Yeah.
We joke about it, but that's an actual conversation that's happening in a Korean boardroom somewhere. But
that's it, 100%. That has to be it.
I just can't wrap my head around the skill, especially too because if you guys understand a 5 hit with 5 100, basically 10 100% activation debuff checks, you don't need any accuracy. You can just get a little bit from your S3. You're going to land. There's no shot you miss 10 in a row. I don't care if you have 15 accuracy, 25 accuracy. You are not missing 10 debuffs. It's never going to happen.
Next to it, you might, worst case scenario, you land on your last hit, but it's not even a bad thing if you land it.
It's still 3-turn defense break, 3-turn oblivion. Like, that's good no matter what.
That's why I call it excessive. 3 turns is nuts. There's a lot of cleansers in the game, but let's say you turn 1, you land this on a kinky. Worst case scenario, you land it on your last hit. You're still set up for your next unit to do whatever they want.
Decimate him, yeah.
Yeah. A kinky as an example, but there's a lot of options that this, if this lands Oblivion, let's say turn 1 on a Nana, and the rest of the hits kill that Nana, Nana's not coming back.
Yep.
Nana's gone. Any unit that revives through a passive is gone. Any, Kinky will still revenge you, sure. If you don't land Oblivion turn 1, Kinky always does that. But, same with a Douglas. I think actually with a Douglas, let's say you hypothetically land the Oblivion turn 1.
You'll kill him.
Yeah, you don't just kill him, but you won't glance him anymore.
Yeah, no, right? you won't. You'll just he's dead. I don't know if he'll ever. You'd have to have a really bad destiny to not kill Douglas every single time. I don't see a world where you don't kill Douglas every time when you S3 it.
And most likely, you only ever need to land Oblivion at the halfway point. Even the second, because we're not even talking about how insane the additional damage is going to obviously pop off with that.
5 minutes.
But let's hypothetically, your first 3 hits glance with Destiny on a Douglas. Your second hit lands the Oblivion, not even the defense break, lands the Oblivion, and you're going to have around 100 crit anyway for the S2 to also matter. For the ignore defense. So you already have crazy attack. You already did 4 hits of nutty additional damage. That Douglas, no matter what, should be obliterated. Is what you're never going to have low enough attack where you glance him at a 50% rate on a Destiny. So eliminates Diana's, eliminates Douglas, eliminates Nana, eliminates Kinkies, What else? I don't know. Anything
Well,
really
things
aside from
without
yeah,
passives.
yes,
What's a
that
thing?
too,
What's a
that
thing
too.
without a passive gonna do? You're getting 5 hit with a 3-turn defense break.
Well, we don't know the multiplier on it, so it could maybe brick on a Riley a little bit, maybe.
Like if you
I
miss
don't
too
know.
much, I don't know. But
I don't know, but it's nuts. Long story
so I
short.
know you want this unit for your comp. So
Yeah.
what are your thoughts?
It's insane. The worst thing about this unit is honestly is like trying to decide whether you build it crit damage for skill 2 or building it additionals for skill 3. Like it's just a dumb unit. Like it's
Yeah,
like I know everyone's freaking out about the next one we'll talk about, but
yeah,
honestly, I think this one is stronger in the current meta than the
yep,
other one.
100%.
Yeah, it is. And current meta Destiny's way better.
Especially with the comps that we run, like that we
Mhm.
tend to run, because we are weak to the passive units. I mean,
Let's be real.
this is like the counter everyone's been dreaming of the units that just torture you while you play RTA. And of course, it's locked behind a light and dark Nat 5, right? Because why wouldn't it
Natural.
be? Just like Tian
Natural.
Lang and whatever. But yeah, just there's so many synergies with this unit. I personally think you just build this unit like a Dominic. I know you're wasting her crit rate awakening just like most people waste Dominic's crit rate awakening, but I would just go cracked out attack, as much HP as you get. Her base stats all around are pretty damn good. I would just get stats. Just stats galore, fast, tuned, violent. Just
Yeah, I really want to see how she performs with just like just stats because
yep.
like defense break is so strong, and the fact she can defense break for like on say the first hit and then get 80% of her damage on defense break after it is kind of insane.
Yeah.
This skill should
That
not
might
be
be the build.
100%
Why does
activation
Bella skill 4 not have this? That's what I want to know.
because
Ooh.
she didn't come
Might
out
be.
this year. If she came out
Yeah.
this year, it would.
Yeah.
But I mean, this I don't know, like stuff like this. This is just like power creep to a whole nother level because we just don't have a multi-hitter in the game that does anything like this. Forget the Oblivion. Nothing does this with just a defense break. Nothing does this with a 1-turn defense break. This is a 3-turn defense break. It's gonna block their passive. This is just so cracked. Like I can't wrap my head around this unit in any way because at least if they gated that skill with a 50% activation rate, you're still probably landing every single time you click it. But at the very least, you would probably need some accuracy because you're going to think to yourself, like, okay, if I only activate it twice and I have no accuracy, then there is a real chance I miss. But right now, I mean, 10% accuracy, you're going to get, odds are you're going to get when you have
What's
10 checks.
what's Han's activation rate? Oh, I can see for myself. I have it open.
Not great, I
Because
don't think.
Han is the next best thing to Destiny now. He used to be top of the line for this situation, not anymore. Let's see. Han 50% chance to land that defense
50.
on 4 hits. Oh man.
I
The
don't
question
know.
is do they buff other nukers to get anywhere near the level of these is the
Nope.
question, because like if they're trying to make the meta faster, like
It's
I
not
don't
just
know.
faster, but like they're removing the res check aspect of because units like this exist, but they have a res check tied to them, right? If you think about Daphnis in the case of Claire or not Han, obviously let's not compare the LD5s. LD5s are still the exception to this, or Kashmir or whatever. They still have that scope where they can, if they strip, they land the defense break and they uh well do their damage, land their crit. Let's say even landing your crit is a factor as well.
Yeah.
They the type of unit does exist, but they have res checks up the ass. Where these Claire, Veronica, and well the wind one Sonya, when she does get her buff, we just assume she's gonna get a buff, obviously, to make her
Yeah.
viable. Like she will also be in that category. I don't need a res check,
Yeah, it's just pure
ignore defense,
damage. Yeah.
with very minimal, most likely no attack. Well, no, you're doing attack buff to get that 50k, right? With
Oh
Claire?
god, yeah, yeah, you need
Yeah, yeah,
attack
yeah.
buff. But you could also build like you could build Claire on Swift, speed crit damage attack, and probably do 40k without attack buff. I just opted for violent and crit rate, so it's like
Yeah,
you could do that damage without that if you wanted to. But
yeah.
the other thing too, like this, I feel like this skill's so good that like it could have like a 6-turn cooldown, and I would think no less of it. And instead, it's a 2-turn
Yeah.
cooldown. Like
Yeah.
you realize if
And
you
imagine-
proc once, the what the hell is that skill called? Shizuka S2 just gives it back. You just have it again, right
Yeah,
then
that's
and there.
true.
If you proc
That's true.
one time, Shizuka S2 gives you this skill again immediately.
Yeah, like if Claire dies, yes, I know. So if she gets revived, or if Claire just
No,
refreshes you once,
just refresh.
Yeah.
You don't have to die.
no,
How do
but
you-
even if you die, it's actually
Yeah,
because
yeah.
she does lower your cooldown by 1 turn if she revives you.
Yep.
So if you do pop your S2, you're on a 2-turn cooldown. Let's say you don't live to do it again.
Yeah,
She
but I'm
revives
talking
you.
about the S3. The S3 is
Oh,
a 2-turn
yeah.
cooldown. This
Both
cracks.
of them are.
I know, but this skill is insane. It's a 5-hit defense break Oblivion. It's got a 2-turn cooldown. One
The real question is how many
Shizuka
people are
gives
going
it
to be
back.
building this as a slow high stat version of it, where they're basically using it in a turn 2 and then just deleting
Yeah.
people off the planet. Like,
Yeah.
That's scary. That's the scary build for Destiny, because you would still have high enough attack to ignore defense anyway with the S. It's not gonna, like, let's say you miss crit, it'll still do like 20k, right?
At least.
At
yeah.
least 20k. 20k is nothing to scoff at. Like, that's still like finishing off a unit. They're at 50 health anyway, so
I'm just picturing the Riley Bird Ragdoll teams that have a Destiny tied in, that pick a Leos that you have to ban it, or a Juno that you have to ban, and then you just get revenged, and whatever one of your unit moved and lost its will, goodbye. Like,
peace out.
just, oh my god, it's just gonna be so good. Thank God Nana's nerfed, honestly, because if this was being used with Nana, that would be ridiculous.
That's the real reason they nerfed Nana, because this was coming out. Obviously, that must be it.
Well, let's get off this. Let's move on to the next one, who is also just super cracked.
Mm-hmm.
So the light battle angel Veronica got a 3-turn cooldown, AoE, strip all buffs, increase all cooldowns by 2 turns each, both 100% activation rates.
Gorgeous.
She's 104 base speed. She awakens into accuracy. She doesn't need to crit rate like Gianna needs. Her S2 is the cracked S2 from the water one. That's a fucking up to a 16 hit skill that puts glancing on everything, continuous damage on everything, and scales proportional to attack speed. This list is too long. This is already not a Summoner's War unit. Like, that list is supposed to stop halfway when you're describing Summoner's War unit. Like, that is too long of a list. And I mean, the S1's a multi-hit that slows, because, why not, right? But yeah, I mean,
wild.
They power creeped Gianna. Like, I mean, how else? I don't know. What do you guys think? Gianna was like one of the highest win rate units for the past, 6 years, and they just power creeped her. I don't know.
I mean, power creeped it for hard turn 1. Like, I still think.
You don't think Violent's gonna do well on this?
I mean, it will, but man, Oracle skill 1s are pretty fucking good when you're taking multiple turns. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
but
that is true.
And bombs are not really a thing to scoff at either, to use the term. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily a power creep Gianna. I think it's a definitely on par with Gianna unit for sure. And Gianna is the best unit in the game, in my opinion. I know technically Lima is probably the best unit in the game right now, but Gianna's still insane.
I don't know about giving Gianna in current days the best title of like best unit, because she's still like, there's a decent amount of ways to deal with her if you like actually rune for it. I just refuse to rune that way most of the time. But like, there's like some Giannas have gotten smarter. Yes, like when they start drafting Hey Gang with their Gianna, then it's like, well, bend me over. But then Josephine kind of lowers that. The main thing with Gianna,
but this counters
super
both
OP.
of those. This counters
Yes.
Hey Gang and Josephine.
Yeah, like I'm.
Yeah, the fact that it counters Josephine is actually, or not Josephine, is
Yeah.
Hey Gang is insane.
It doesn't lose to Tetra either. It's
I
not.
that
It's just.
that's what I'm getting at though. Is that I agree with Sig.
May I say something very important right now? Buff Nyx, because this is bullshit.
Please.
This is
bullshit.
This even bypasses Gianna's supposed weakness to Nyx too, which Gianna always seems to get past Nyx's passive anyways. But
Always.
this one doesn't even have to worry about it. Nyx
No.
doesn't block cooldowns or strips, so
Nope.
she just completely bypasses it.
Yeah. So yeah, what I'm getting at is Veronica to me is the better Gianna now,
Yep.
by a long shot. Even though like you can still make Gianna better when you
Base
take a
stats
Hey Gang.
alone too, man.
Yeah, and the base stats are nuts on her too.
I mean, I think what this does is that for the true LD whales among us, this firmly moves Gianna into the place where she should have always been, which is a violent unit instead of a swift unit. Because now, if you're running swift, you just run this.
Yeah.
Mhm. Especially if like the 3 plus 230 swift sets. This is like nuts.
And like the thing is too, so my first reaction to this unit when I read it was I felt kind of, I don't know, it's a mixed feeling, right? Because we've been bitching about Triple Revenge Verd and stuff like that for the past I don't know how long. What the hell do you do against, what counter does this unit have other than Triple Revenge Verd?
Yeah, Leo Verd. Like Leo still craps on her damage. So much passives still crap on her too. You're cooling him down, sure, but like Leo is an instant ban for like the Leo
But the
comps,
problem is
not
like
Leo.
passives don't counter her. She's just the setup. Like the fact that all of this is packed into just the setup unit on your team. She's not even supposed to be doing the damage or the 16 hit S2 or anything like that. Like she is the Chiwu, but she also does those things. That's the crazy part. Like
she's kind of like Volantis, because Volantis is like one of the few good Vio like strippers you could
he
build on
strips you
Vio
and
strip.
does something to you.
Yeah. And like well, obviously it has to be LD when you have a title given to that unit where it's just AoE stripper and it does something significant after the fact. But like the way to deal with her is like the Leo comps, of course, or contest speed. But contesting speed with a 104,
it's gonna be tough for.
Stats,
I mean, some people. I mean, I'm not gonna have this issue, but like,
I will. But like Jemire comps too. Like you still have to somehow squeeze. Like she doesn't do any bar manipulation, thankfully. So if you have a Jemire, you start ruining your Jemire to move first on your team.
Yeah.
Then maybe it does something, but most likely you're gonna tune something immediately behind your Veronica.
I mean, this sort of brings like Nim Jemire into the forefront, right? Because then you either get to reset your combo or you get pushed in front so that you can reset like before your team goes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is like that's something as well. Like Jemire,
he just doesn't boost. He doesn't boost you though. If you're still getting cut by the next unit after Veronica,
which is most likely what's happening
with you, so it's not. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's assuming that the people are going to be running the Swift. Like, if you're getting a 2-turn reset, like there's going to be a lot of people who are just going to be like going the cheater route of like, I build my team 260, I have a Swift 3, whatever the fuck my Swift sets are, like Veronica, and then they're just like, okay, it doesn't matter if you get to go because you can't violent proc 2 turns of a reset.
Yeah.
And then you just build everybody even more efficient. Like if they give you the Veronica, you just get to go at whatever speed your most efficient sets are.
Yep. And the other thing too, it's like, I mean, I know because we haven't mentioned it, the very first comment, it's probably already been typed, is going to be that she has a double res check, whereas Gianna only has one. And like, I get that. You're going to get sacked using Chiwu, you're going to get sacked using Triton, you're going to get sacked using Veronica. Like, it's all the same, you know. Gianna does have that benefit of only having one check for whatever reason. But still, it's just,
I always forget about that.
But like I consider it balanced out by the fact that this is unconditional. Like Gianna has a single res check under the condition that your opponent's team is on will. This is a double res check without that condition. So to me, it's the same thing. Because all last season, I ran no will for Wunsas and Giannas. This would counter me no matter what, will or no will.
Yeah,
She does
if it
not care.
outspeeds you, you're done. Or if they ban the Leo,
I consider it like a give and take. Like, I get it. Like, I would rather have just a single res check with a condition, but the fact that I just consider this skill way better and her base speed's better, I think it balances out the fact that she has 2 checks but isn't beholden on stripping something first.
I think who else does AoE cooldown? Changpeng. Who's the other unit?
Which has a strict condition to it as well. You got to get him to 0. Obviously, that skill doesn't strip. And
our boy Nyx does it.
Yeah, he's the only one that strips and does it. He's the only one. And it's a 1 turn, and it's bad activation rate.
Yeah, crappy 80%.
And it also feels the pain of double res check.
Yeah. The wonderful pain of double res check. Yeah, when it comes to AoE, there's Daphnis, Nyx,
that dark girl, right?
And the dark girl, the pixie Cameron, yeah. So it's pretty good. Is what we're getting at.
I just don't know. I don't know what the counter is, because even when I think about Triple Revenge Verd, I don't even know how that's the counter, because if she landed, your shit's reset anyways. It doesn't even matter.
The real counter is contesting speed.
Yep.
Essentially.
I still see in the long run the Leo Verd winning it as well. Like, not all the time, but a good chunk of the time.
That only works though if the Leo Verd player has first pick, because you have to take them in the same round, which you only get that opportunity if you have first pick, because you get 2 picks in your final round. Because if you show it too early, like if you're the last picker and you've already picked the Triple Revenge Verd, you've already shown the Veronica team that you're not speed contesting. So now they get to just do whatever the hell they want. Like Apze said, here comes a bunch of 260 super efficient units. Here comes Dominic. Here comes whatever. And it's too late to Leo. Yeah. But if you have first pick, then you can kind of do that, because you can take Leo and Verd at the same time before you've shown them anything. They get a last pick to counter that, but you can always ban that last pick. So I don't know. I don't see how, I just don't know how you counter this thing. Outside of outspeeding, but I don't consider that a counter, because everybody has different runes. Everybody has access to different units. Like, I don't know. I mean, everyone has an Escher, but not everyone has a Sekhmet. Not everyone has a whatever.
Everyone has a Cichlid.
That's true. Cichlid. Yeah, my girl.
Like, stuff like that is gonna have to come out more. Like, it already comes out, but I don't think she's gonna change. She's obviously not gonna change the meta. It's an LD5. It's very new. Very few people in the Guardian level are gonna own. Well, I say that, but I'll be surprised when I queue, obviously, how many Veronicas I'll end up fighting.
Yeah.
But the speed contesting with like Sekhmet, Chiclet, or the usual Leo Verd stuff, if they end up putting it on the last 2 picks rather than the early picks, I see that being it. So, is she stupid good? Yes, but I don't see it that she's going to change your draft, like how you counter, because she's still in the not subset, but like in the group of units that play a certain way, and their counters remain the exact same way, which is outspeeding with the strip cooldown or the Leo Verd garbage.
Yeah,
and that's she does not change that aspect, I think, very much.
But
she's better against it.
It comes down to who pulls it, though, right? Too, because like, just me for example, my Swift set on this would be plus 234. So you would have to have Escher and Sekhmet both, like, yes, their base speeds are awesome, I get it, but you're still required to have like a 215 or higher set on both of them to equal lead outspeed the Veronica. Like, that's not easy for everybody. No. And if you are splitting your your 2 Swift sets like that onto Escher and
And
Sekhmet.
Sekhmet, yeah.
What else do you have? What's your third set? What's your actual turn 1 unit that's not
Yeah.
just to try to get in front of Veronica? Like
My turn 1 unit is Antares, thank you.
true.
Naturally.
But I don't know. It's gonna come down to who pulls it. Like if someone like Say got this unit, that's gonna be impossible to beat, man. It's just gonna be impossible.
Speaking of people who sound like Say, what if I want to see Shaso pull it and then run it as like a cleave unit?
Like, dude, how could you beat that? His runes are so fast. What are you gonna do? You can't have 4 cheat units that all have 215 sets that you can pick them at the right time in the right place. Like, sometimes Escher's your cheat unit, but it's not a good game for him. Like, what do you do?
And if you own the Veronica, it's not like it's a detriment for you to take the Escher either.
Right,
like,
yeah.
No, it's actually a good benefit because of her
God.
S2. So, is she? Yeah, like I said, she still doesn't really escape the other counters that for similar comp ideas. She doesn't escape that.
She's better versus them.
She's a little. She is better versus them. She's a little bit outside of it, I think, like compared to like all the other strip nonsense comps and the turn 1 comps. But she is obviously outside of it a little bit, but the counters remain the same. And I don't think they're gonna really, other than Jemire has more relevancy as soon as Veronica steps up more, like more people own her.
Yeah, it's gonna take a couple seasons, especially in
so
G3.
more people own it. But yeah, we'll have to reference this podcast. What the fuck did I talk about to counter Veronica? Oh yeah, Jemire. But again, by then they might realize they need to run a bar pusher to screw over the Jemires too in that situation. So who knows? Who fucking knows? But most likely that's what's happening with Veronica. Destiny is better, I think, because Veronica still gets grouped into the same counter nonsense. She doesn't really exceed it.
The only reason I think Veronica's better though, well, it's weird. I think anyone who pulls a Destiny can use it in their comp and just fucking delete shit. Yeah. But not everybody who pulls a Veronica is going to be in the same boat. Like, just if tomorrow, and don't you dare pull this unit, Stoic, but if tomorrow Stoic pulled Veronica, it's not the same thing as if I did.
No.
You know what I mean? It comes down to who pulls a unit like this. Like, even in G3, if Zir pulls this unit, who just won Legend, he's not that fast of a player. If Say pulls this unit, it's a whole different ballgame. Like, if Pinkroyd pulls this unit, it's a whole different ballgame. Like, so it really just comes down to who gets it, when do they get it, what other LDs do they own in conjunction with it. But like, this is one of those units that's just so dangerous. If it finds its way onto the correct account, like mine, for example, Comtos, please, for the love of God,
please,
for the love of God, help me out.
Help a brother out. Just give me an LD5. That's not groggy, please.
Yeah. Oh man, but I don't
know. I hope. Like Apze said it too, and I'm saying it, that this is their justification for buffing Nyx S2.
Please buff Nyx S2.
They have to, right?
Garbage still.
Look, a single strip still, okay? A single strip at 100% activation and a single cooldown at 100% activation. That's it. It's an S2. It's on a 3-turn cooldown.
Even if it's just 100% strip and still an 80% reset, just make it one of them 100%.
I would,
and I wouldn't mind.
I want both.
Because that would buff Samath and Daphnis too, and I think that's fine. Like, I think they could use it, especially like Samath has been outclassed by Oliver so heavily. It's like, I'm fine with that because they all got that same that same change to where it's like overwhelm of dark, overwhelm of water, overwhelm of fire, or whatever. So like, if his strip goes to 100, then Samath's slow goes to 100, and Daphnis's heal block goes to 100, right? So,
what's wrong with that? Really?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that's even more reason to do it because they could use it.
They could use it. Like, if they're never making Oliver, like toning him down, and they just make Samoth 100% activation. I'm trying to show Samoth while remember I'm not streaming.
Yeah,
But
that would be a really good like addition
it,
to Samoth's
it
S2.
it does make him a little bit like kind of excessively OP because you can really go on the utility side with him. But like his revive
like
will
it.
do less damage. Like I don't think it's horrible. That's a good turn 1 buff if anything. But he does do damage, but in order to really gain benefit from 100% activation cooldown,
Gotta have accuracy.
you gotta have accuracy, obviously, and you gotta be at a certain speed. So those two alone nerf his overall damage and the revive damage. Is it still gonna be good damage? Yes. But is it gonna make him busted OP? I don't think so. Because you gotta think of how runes spread. Like
Yeah, I would
anybody
love it.
who's watching this, like look at how you have to rune 100 crit unit. Like if you rune
brutal.
your units at 80 and you still want them to be plus 170, you're fucking delusional.
It's
like
impossible.
it's not
Yeah.
it's not impossible, but it looks like garbage when it's not 100
it's possible
crit.
for Masha. That's
For
yeah, that's
for
about it.
So I don't think it's super OP if they do it. It's going to be a really good buff, but it's not OP. He still gets clapped by turn 2 units anyway.
Yeah.
It just makes it better for contention. When you're doing contending speed, it makes him better, which is kind of cool. Which I would think is a.
So yeah,
all
come
this
to
is
us.
said.
Yeah,
all
so
this
come
is
to
said,
us,
but
Nerf
Nyx.
Nyx. Nerf Nyx. Yeah.
No.
Hold on.
Just give him the 100%
You
activation
can't say
rate.
that.
Give him the 100% activation rate.
You know
and
what?
Nerf his
Nerf
passive.
Grogan. Nerf Grogan.
It's not possible. You're saying the impossible. I can't think of a single change they could do to Grogan that would make him worse. Make him a 90 base speed. There you go.
Lower his stun chance on this too.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, we can call it there unless you guys have any final thoughts. We're at probably our longest podcast ever right now.
What? No way. What are we at?
An hour 17.
No way. I didn't think we're even past an hour yet.
And we didn't even talk about Special League.
But Special League sucks unless you own Tableau. Unless you own Tableau. End of discussion.
Yeah.
Imagine being such a pleb that you don't own Tableau. Now, excuse me while I go cry.
I'm in this. Yeah, I mean, you've opened more LDs than me, but yeah, I'm in the no Tableau boat as well.
Okay, maybe this is just to appease some SL conversation. Have you guys figured out a way to counter Tableau other than first picking Escher?
Yeah, Amduat and Terry is easy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, outspeed him.
You have to play.
Outspeed him with Bearing and miss the silence.
What speed do you put your Amduat at to be relevant?
Like 260-ish, 270-ish.
Okay, there we go.
Like if like I typically build my Amduat for like pure disruption, so it's typically on like a speed attack hit point kind of a build. Like it's not made to cleave them; it's made to literally just sit there and be super annoying.
Okay.
So it's made to basically it's made to cut like a Tableau using his skill kind of a thing.
So he will cut it at 260 is that number.
For most
like people?
approximately like 270-ish, yeah.
Well,
okay.
The reason it works is because like after Tableau S3s, your opponent's Swift unit is the unit that moves next. So you're going to get a second bar boost off of Amduat after that. Because that unit typically doesn't do anything. The one that moves immediately after Tableau. So you gain bar after Tableau does it. You gain bar after their next useless unit moves. And you actually get to cut the two impactful units that are typically in between Tableau and the Swift unit. So it does work pretty well. But I always just go for the outspeed and then I miss my stuff. And then I get frustrated and I
playing
and I de-rune.
I'm playing that Beyblades thing right now. I'm probably gonna convert over into. I'm gonna probably convert over into Cancer Strat pretty soon, which is like Despair Iris, Despair Amduat, Despair Antares, like Ileana kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it's gross,
Molly.
but it's like.
Do you have a Kinky?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like Kinky though for this league. Like every unit basically every unit I use is designed to cut their garbage. Like I even typically will draft, like I'll first pick Acelia specifically to take away the Tyrone combo, and then I'll draft Cancer after it.
Yeah, just put your best Despair set on the Acelia and just do it that way.
So the best way to deal with Tableau is have an Amduat at 270, 260 to 270, have an Antares naturally, and start picking at their units
Okay,
with the Celia Tyrone.
this podcast is going sideways. We should not be encouraging this fuckery.
I'm not saying that you
I don't
should.
know.
I'm saying
I'm
that
taking notes.
I'm just saying that every Tableau owner should pay the price. That's all I'm saying.
You know
That's
what?
true.
I agree.
Until
I
we
agree.
become Tableau owners, and on that
Then
day,
they
That's
should
not
nerf
happening.
and
yeah,
take.
exactly. And on that day, we nerf Antari's Amduat.
Perfect. Well said. Well planned out. Unbelievable.
We're awful. All right. Well, we can
That's
end
how
it
it should
there.
be.
Thank you for joining us again, Apze.
Thank you, everyone.
Love having you.
No, I'm
Thank you
glad to
guys
be
for
here.
watching.
Thanks for coming on the last second notice.
Yep.
Remember, Apze is a Twitch streamer, so check him out on Twitch.
Yep. Everybody's links
Don't
will be in
bother
the
with us.
bottom.
Yes.
And yeah, see you guys next week. Peace out.
Bye-bye.
See ya.